As you know, there's great suspicion amongst many people that you'll never get past stage one, that this will just amount to a temporary ceasefire, release of the hostages, you get your people back, and then there could be a return to the killing.
Well, can we just celebrate that point? Not to quote Margaret Thatcher, can we be happy with that?
Do you think that the Gaza ceasefire deal is going to hold long term? Take a look at this clip over here where an Israeli government spokesperson is challenged by a reporter. Now, why do all of these reporters always side with Hamas? And you can just tell it in the line of questioning. That's for another day. But do you think that it's going to hold up? Let's see what this Israeli government spokesperson has to say, and then we'll talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
So what can we expect? I mean, Trump is coming. What's going to happen?
Well, first things first, it's about the hostages. This is called a hostage release deal. This deal is about getting all of our hostages home, which is going to happen now, as the agreement states, in the next 72 hours. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say that it's been the vision of the Prime Minister that has seen this to this point, when everyone said, you can't go into Rafah, you can't go into Gaza City, you can't take the military action that you're taking. The Prime Minister held firm to his vision. He said three things for this war. He said, number one, all the hostages home. Number two, Hamas defeated, disarmed and demilitarized. And also number three, that Gaza should never form a threat to this country. And that is how we've got to this point through the Prime Minister's persistence, his vision, and almost no other Israeli leader in this country could have brought us to this point.
Well, I mean, obviously you work for him, but everyone else in the world is saying it's Trump. It's Trump that made the difference, and Trump is saying only he could have done this. And that's true, isn't it? I mean, what changed over the course of the last month to change your position?
Well, they can both be true, Christian. President Trump is our best friend in the White House that we've ever had. There's never been another leader in the White House like him. But together, the Prime Minister and the President, they've got a phenomenal relationship. They work very, very closely together, a very open relationship. There are almost daily phone calls. They speak very frankly to each other. And together, that combination has brought us to this point.
How painful has your compromise been, though? Because you've ended up in a position that you said you never would. It was about total victory. Hamas had to be destroyed completely. And you've ended up in a situation where you've been negotiating with Hamas. Hamas is still there. You're releasing some of them. That's a massive shift in your position, isn't it?
I don't see any shift whatsoever. I genuinely don't see any shift whatsoever.
Well, you haven't got the total victory, is what I mean.
We have. Hamas are no longer able to attack us in the way that they did. And most importantly, in the agreement, Hamas are no longer part of the future of Gaza.
Is that what you meant all along? Because, I mean, I think most of the world thought you meant we want to destroy them.
We have destroyed them. We have destroyed
literally.
them. The reason why they've come to Hamas, why has Hamas come to this point, is because everyone said to Israel, don't go into Gaza City. That's the last place where the Hamas stronghold is. We said, no, we're going in. And we put the knife to their throats. And that is why they've got nowhere else to go now. They must make this agreement. Now, look, all of this is, I don't want to show bravado. We want to get our hostages home. It's not a time for, victory parades. It's a time to get our hostages home. That is what Israel's peoples want, and that is what the Prime Minister, together with the President, have achieved.
What is the test, though, for demilitarization, and who will monitor it?
The agreements are very, very clear that Hamas can no longer form part of Gaza in any way, shape or form.
I mean, at the moment they do, don't they? That's the thing. I mean, they are effectively the security force still in Gaza today.
In 1945, not every single Nazi was killed in Nazi Germany. They still existed. I mean, God knows they still exist even today. So, the idea that we couldn't destroy this ideology was wrong, that we couldn't destroy this organization was wrong.
But they said they're taking control of places that the IDF is withdrawing from.
Well, that would be a very, very bad idea, because the agreement, and President Trump backs this up, has made crystal clear that Hamas no longer form any part of the future of Gaza.
But
and the Prime Minister made this clear today. He released a statement today. I watched him record it last night, and he says, look, You can do this two ways, the easy way or the hard way.
What does the hard way mean?
We know exactly what the hard way means. It means the same thing as in Lebanon. Yes, we want agreements with our neighbors, but agreements that will be enforced. Israel will enforce this agreement.
So the threat of more military action remains?
Nobody wants more military action, but the Prime Minister has made crystal clear that there will still remain, as there is, Israel has withdrawn back to this yellow line on the maps which President Trump has widely distributed. We've drawn back to that. That means that 53% of Gaza is still within Israel's military control. But ultimately, there will still be a border between the two of us, a security area where we can ensure that Hamas can no longer attack us.
So will it be like Lebanon? It's interesting you draw that comparison. I mean, are you saying you retain the right to mount strikes and killings on Hamas leadership if you feel they are breaking the rules, preparing to break the rules, or anything like that?
Christian, that's what the agreement says. It's pretty crystal clear.
So you could preempt?
No, it's. I don't want to talk about bad things that may happen in the future. This is an optimistic time. It's an optimistic time for Israelis. We've waited for this moment for 2 years. You know, the Hebrew date falls on Monday evening. It's precisely 2 years that our hostages have been taken and this war was started. I don't want to talk about negativity, but look, the Prime Minister's primary responsibility is to defend the people of this country, and that's what he'll do, and that's what the agreement makes clear, that Israel will maintain overall security control to ensure that Hamas cannot regroup, that Hamas are not part of the future of Gaza, because that's precisely what the agreement says.
But who will monitor that?
Well, Israel is always here to make sure that it will defend itself, and
anyone from outside.
And the president has also made clear in the agreement that there'll be others as well looking at this.
As you know, there's great suspicion amongst many people that you'll never get past stage one. That this will just amount to a temporary ceasefire, release of the hostages, you get your people back, and then there could be a return to the killing.
Well, can we just celebrate that point? Not to quote Margaret Thatcher, can we be happy with that?
I mean, you will obviously, yes.
And you too, Christian, I hope.
I'm sure the whole world will rejoice.
So you've spoken to the hostage families. I've seen you. To your credit, you've spoken to the hostage families. You've seen that this is an open wound in Israeli society. We need to get our people home. But this is a sequential agreement. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 has to be achieved. That is the first stage. Israel has withdrawn its forces back to the yellow line. And now, within these 72 hours, we're already into these 72 hours, our hostages must come home. And then, following that, we hope that happens. All of us want a peaceful
So will stage 2
here.
talks begin immediately?
Yes, that's what the agreement states.
And to what extent is the Prime Minister, at the will of his coalition partners, who are stated opponents of it, but haven't left the government yet?
Look, we are a country which is not a dictatorship. There's lots of views around the cabinet table. These are painful decisions. You know, we're about to release Palestinian criminals, murderers, people that went into pizzerias and stabbed people. Real murderers, not shoplifters. They are people that blew up buses, that blew up a hotel in Netanya, which were having their Passover Seder meal. A bunch of pensioners that were there were killed. These are really painful. I doubt the UK would have made this. I'll be frank with you. I cannot see any UK government making this compromise.
Well, I mean, there are similarities to Northern Ireland, obviously, on that.
Arch murderers. To release arch murderers. These are painful things. Look, there isn't unanimity across this country. Only in dictatorships do you find those dictators.
Does Mr. Smotrich have a veto over stage 2 effectively, because he can bring down the government?
Of course he can't. Of course he can't. The Prime Minister leads this government. He is the voice of this government. People, of course, can always. Different cabinet ministers can express their opinion, and they do.
But they can collapse the government by leaving it.
No, I don't think that's correct. If you look at the mathematics of Israel's government, that's incorrect. I think the Prime Minister is safe, and more than that, he is popular in this country. This is not an image you guys like to show on Channel 4 News.
I know he wants to win the next election, I'm sure.
Of course he does, because he's not finished yet. There's more to be done in this country. And it's the Prime Minister's vision that has brought us to this point. No other Prime Minister, I can't begin, yesterday you interviewed Ehud Barak, a great military leader, but also a former prime minister, and Ehud Olmert as well, who offered the Palestinians the best deal they could possibly hope for, and the Palestinians still walked away. Now, I'll wager you now that when our elections happen in about a year's time, the Prime Minister will win again, because the people in Israel believe it when he says that he will protect this country please God, he will be able to protect this country with the united support of our soldiers and our people behind him.
I mean, we've been talking...
You're lost for words there. You're lost for words, Christian.
I mean, I suppose
no one ever gives you this opinion, because you guys always interview the sort of Jeremy Corbyn equivalent of Israeli politics.
We interview you regularly.
Yeah, not that regularly. Not regularly
well, we had your colleague on the other day.
Which one?
Oren Marmerstein.
Right, right.
No, I mean, I suppose what I'm getting to is this is a real time for reflection for people on both sides. There has been horrific suffering.
There has.
No matter what numbers you believe.
There has.
On both sides.
Yeah.
And terrible killing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel now that this is coming to an end? I mean, obviously you defended your position through the course of what you were doing. But how do you reflect now just on that human misery on both sides that has been truly horrific and unbearable to watch?
It has been unbearable to watch. I must tell you, and I must make this point clear, that this was a war which was designed by Hamas, the terrorist organization. They knew what would happen if they attacked us in such a brutal, barbaric way.
But surely you can get past those arguments.
We will never get past. No, as a human being, of course. Of course, suffering is terrible. But let's be clear how this suffering got here, and let's be clear how the suffering can end with Hamas having no future for Gaza. And I must tell you as well that Gaza had an opportunity 20 years ago to create a better future for itself. Unfortunately, the people of Gaza chose Hamas. And for Israelis, they're looking at this very, very, with 2020 vision, and they can see very, very clearly what happened when Gaza was handed over to Palestinian rule. What happened? It was turned into a terror base, not to improve their own lives, but to try and destroy this country. And we want to make sure, we always want to live in peace with our neighbors. We are dreaming of a day when peace can come to this land for everyone here. But if you want to destroy us, then you will be defeated. And that's what the Prime Minister's achieved, together with Israel's armed forces and its people.
Just finally, when you talk about a future without Hamas, I mean, one of the people, surely, who could help deliver a democratic future for Gaza is in jail right now. He is Marwan Barghouti.
Yeah.
And, Hamas wanted him released and you said no.
That's right.
Many people think of him as a Palestinian Mandela type figure.
Well, he's not
very,
part
very
of this
popular.
Agreement. He's not part of this agreement. He's not part of this agreement.
But do you see him being part of the future?
He's in. I can't see into the future, unfortunately you can't either, Christian. But he's not part of this agreement, and I will remind your viewers that he's in prison with multiple life sentences.
In a trial he didn't take part in.
Multiple life sentences, which are there's not crimes he denies, for heaven's sake. Let's not try and Mandelarize Barghouti. That's an incorrect comparison. But he's not part of this agreement. There are other terrorists which we are releasing. These are tough choices for Israel, but we're making them for life because we care about life, we care about our people, and we care about ordinary Gazans as well. And a future without Hamas having anything to do with Gazans is a better future for everyone here.
David Mensa, thank you very much.
Good to be with you.
I can't stand the line of questioning that this guy always does when it comes to Israel. He's so one-sided. He's so pushing that he's on the side of Hamas. It's so cringy. In any case, on the other hand, we have a very optimistic view of the future coming from the Israeli spokesperson, trying to really focus on the good that can be potentially coming from this deal, despite the fact that it has within it the release of so many Palestinian murderers and prisoners, people with life sentences who were engaged in terrorist activities. Despite that fact, and the fact that no Israelis are happy about that. No one of goodwill should be happy about that. The fact of the matter is that the Israeli hostages are coming home. Stage 1 is set to complete this week, as early as Monday. And that is something to be focused on and optimistic about. And he keeps trying to push him that Israel wants more war. Israel does not want more war. That's for sure. The people of Israel don't want more war. The government does not want more war. They just want to live in a situation where they do not have to worry about constant terror attacks. And the people of Gaza elected Hamas 20 years ago. The Hamas also polls very high in the so-called West Bank now. If there were to be elections tomorrow, they poll pretty high over there as well. So there's an ideological change that needs to happen in this region in order for long-lasting peace to be able to exist. Unfortunately, the current deal is a mixed bag, and there's good reasons to be optimistic about certain things and repercussions that could be had in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords and so forth. But I don't trust Hamas, and I don't think anybody really should. Giving them more credit than they deserve is not helping anybody. But we'll be with you along the way to report on each thing that as it happens. And if you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.